Again, I'd like to remind you listening to this that you are listening to a Gundam fan enjoying the heck out of this fic. You can expect something on Discord, when I'm done, which will be in probably about 6 more chapters. This thing's only got 19. Sadly, Universal Colony Year 118. A time where the endless waltz of history continues unabated. Let us go back 1 year to the UCY 117. Empire Thalos declares war upon all neighboring star systems and the dozens of planetary colonies within. The Empire's military power is at equal strength with each government they are at war with, so they are kind of stalemate. However, halfway into the UCY 117, the Empire acquired a new weapon whose name would be heard throughout the future: mobile suits. These new devices smash through any and all resistance. The Empire now controls more than 95% of the area. We now return to the UCY 118. Canella Monsar is now returning to her duty as an undercover agent for the Resistance. Canella yawned and breathed in deeply. The effects that going in and out of the atmosphere started so quickly weighing on her. She was walking back inside the main HQ for the Empire, the Palace of Mariana. She was sure not to make eye contact with any of the guards as she passed, as she walked towards the throne room of Mariana. She knew if she did, she would most likely become so overcome with fear from their cold and evil eyes, she would collapse and ask them not to hurt her for being a spy. As she came upon the throne room, the doors were immediately opened, Mariana herself walking out. Immediately seeing her, Canola got on one knee, bowing before her. "Greetings, Your Majesty. Back so early for your vacation?" "I found vacation droll and pointless compared to my service to you, my queen." Mariana smiled and lifted her up. "You are indeed one of my most loyal subjects, Canola, and one of my best friends. That's why I decided to show you my purchase." "Your purchase, madame?" "Yes, my purchase. The purchase that still guaranteed absolute control of the colonies once and for all." Canola was silent for most of the trip on the helicopter as he flew across the forest to the other end so he could reach the military base where Mariana's purchase was. She wanted to remember any details that would help her find this place later on so she could destroy it the next chance she got to her Gundam. Unlike Canola, Mariana was practically jumping with glee. She had been like this ever since she had purchased this off of Clark Axum, which made Canola curious. What kind of purchase could make a psychopath like Mariana so happy? "Ha, we're here!" Canola nodded at Mariana's announcement. The installation they had landed was extremely large, guarded by an assortment of mobile suits of varying classes. The helicopter slowly landed. Mariana led Canola off of it. She was led past about a dozen Galags and Goose still as she walked with Mariana to the main complex at the base. As soon as she went to the complex, Canola was speechless. The machine that her suit had a quarter of a mile long, but considerably less wide. It was painted in dark green, and already Canola could see dozens of weapon ports lining the front and the top of the machine. Largest weapon seemed to be the center of a giant red circle, what it looked like. The only thing indicating the slightest weapon that was a mobile suit was the small head of the thing to be on top. Just above the cockpit and a red circle weapon. "Allow me to introduce you to our new weapon, the mobile armor, Aspersus 4. Asbestos 4, why the 4th? According to Clark Axum, the Asbestos 1 and 2 were basic level mobile armors. They could take quite a beating, but weren't ready for cruel combat. Asbestos 3 was a gigantic mobile armor that could wipe out bases on battalions of mobile suits. However, this version, created directly by Axum himself, is designed for more than that. This model is going to destroy colonies! Your Majesty, this is incredible. How much does it cost? Let's just say we won't be making any mass purchases from Axum for a long time. However, this goes all according to plan. We may not need to make purchases from him ever again. Oh, by the way, Canola, I've decided to make you my co-pilot in this mobile armor." "Co-pilot?" "Yes. You see, the armor requires 2 pilots, one for navigation and the other for weapons. We're going to begin testing in another day or two to see if we can hold up to Axum's promise. Meantime, I recommend you head to the quarters and arrange for you to get some rest, or at least study up on the schematics of the Asperus." Canola paced back and forth in her room, looking at the information she had been given at her palaces. She was gaping at the information, completely stunned by the fact that such a war machine existed. I wouldn't worry too much, hon. A simple ground-type Gundam was able to take it out. Top speed Mach 2, armed with a dozen long-distance beam cannons, 300 high-yield cobalt charges, a half-dozen short-range beam cannons, a new weapon called the Masasi cannon, such a new weapon called a hyperparticle cannon. Jeez, this is gonna be hard enough with all the mobile suits guarding this place. In that case, it seems I'll have to start my plans immediately before they start testing this thing. Canola raced into her pocket and pulled out a small round signaling device. She pressed down on it, making it blink. The green light indicated the signal was being sent. After a few minutes of waiting, she heard the gunfire outside her window and explosions. She continued pressing the signal device so the warpath would know exactly where she was. The building she was in was smashed apart, specifically the wall opposite to her. Oh yeah! The wall was replaced by the dark metal skin of Warpath's foot. Canola ran over to it, seeing a wire hanging down. She grabbed the wire tightly and began to raise up, pulling Canola into the cockpit. Quickly she took the controls. The sailing the autopilot ducked into the mobile suit down. Enemy mobile suits and dolls opening firearm. She owned her own weapons in the enemy suits, hitting a scarlet in its chest or head, disabling or destroying them. Well, girl, I told you you'd get to see some action. Mariana growled as she ran with her guards to expel the storage spray. A Gundam here? How could they possibly find out? No matter. It seems we shall have to get the Aspidus and sink down right here in battle. Where's Canola? The buildings you were saying was destroyed by the Gundam. Alright, now I'm going to kill that bastard! Mariana stopped when she reached the entrance to the bay. Warpath was already beginning to break through the metal walls that protected the bay from the rain and snow. Her eyes widened as she saw Warpath raise up with the blasters on its arm. Mariana growled and began running towards the Aspidus. The guards, not wanting to question the will of their leader, decided to cover her instead. Lowering their weapons and opened fire on Warpath. The air blast coming from them were more designed for fighting other people, not armoring. Warpath took a look at him for a moment, then aimed at its Aspidus again. Every time Mariana had already gotten inside. Without Canola, I can't stop flying the thing around. But weapons on this thing are why I purchased it in the first place. Mariana activated the main circuits, immediately lighting it up. Within Warpath, Canola gasped at the sight of the lights of the Aspidus flaring up. She aimed directly at the cockpit and began firing every weapon on it. The blast blew away all the chunks of the ceiling, but didn't even dent the Aspidus. Canola was taking it back. Ha! For this Gundam, meet the power of the Empire! Mariana's hands flew over the controls, immediately firing the main beam cannons at Warpath, while energy beam sliced into Warpath, causing explosions all over it. Canola winced as he saw systems already beginning to fail. Canola engaged back thrusters and blasted away from the Aspidus, sent through and came in. Damn it! I used this thing often enough to engage something like that. Ah! A grunt of pain as explosive from the console to the right burned her arm. She winced to pull her arm to her, as she began to sob slightly. I failed the mission. Canola, what happened to your arm? Canola stood before Mariana in front of Aspidus, while bandages wrapped around her right arm to support it. She lowered her head at Mariana as a gesture of respect. I'm sorry, Your Highness. During the attack, explosive burned my arm and almost broke it. Your Highness, I must be the bearer of bad news. What do you mean? I have been authorized to inform you that the colony known as MG-166 has begun open resistance to the Empire. They require basic-level GM-class mobile suits and are fighting with full resistance force. We repelled our forces all the way back to Capital City. Another war has begun. Mariana blinked, staring at Canola for a moment. As she looked up at the Aspidus and lowered her eyes. There's an old city, Canola. Time is the fire in which we burn. Well, Canola, if my empire is short-lived, then I'll make sure the entire sector of space burns with my empire. Mariana turned completely towards the Aspidus. At this moment, there has to be no holding back, no deals, no negotiations with terrorists. Do you hear me, Gundam pilots? You shall have no mercy for Mariana!